If you ever wanted to read a book so grim and gruesome that it makes you feel like there's no hope in your life, let's talk about silence.
Area.
Silence takes place during the 1600s in Japan during the Tokugawa shogunate. During this period, Tokugawa Ieyasu, who was the leader of Japan at the time, outlawed Christianity, subjecting Christians who refused to renounce their faith to horrific torture and even execution. Now, considering this, Japan seems like a pretty awful place for a missionary to take a trip, right? Well, the threat of atrocious torture and death doesn't stop the main character of Silence from taking a missionary trip to Japan. In fact, the danger makes the trip even more appealing to our main character, whose name is Sebastian Rodriguez. Rodriguez and Garpe are Portuguese priests who have two motives in traveling to Japan. Firstly, they want to spread their faith, and secondly, they want to discover the fate of their mentor, Cristoval Ferreira, who had gone to Japan prior to them and hadn't returned. The most interesting thing about the book for me is watching Rodriguez fall into despair. At the beginning of the novel, he's strong in his faith, and he has an almost romantical view of martyrdom. He sees it as something to look up to. However, he witnesses horrific suffering during his journey, suffering that he's unable to stop. Because of this, his perspective on faith and martyrdom changed drastically as the novel progresses. He's a flawed character, and he experiences real, authentic fears and doubts that we all experience. But overall, I would say Silence is an interesting novel and tackles religious themes in an interesting way. If you're interested in feudal Japan or in the idea of God being silent in the face of suffering, I would read this book.